Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Papajavi, and today I'm going to be doing my third update of my Panda's Eyeshadows project pan. So this was my color story from the last month, and I'm a bit late to this update, so it has been around just over 4 weeks of working with this color story, and I do have a very exciting update for you guys. But before I get into the update, I have some more exciting news, which is I hit 3 additional bonus pans. So I'm going to go through those before I start with the color story and my focus eyeshadows, just because I want to get those out the way. So the first bonus pan that I hit was in my Not Just Nudes Revlon palette, which has one of my focus eyeshadows in, so I'm just going to cover it up. But this is the pan that I hit. It's actually quite a big one. The shadow had quite a dent in it, and because I've been using this palette for my focus eyeshadow, I was just using this shade as a crease setting shade, and I did manage to hit pan in that. The other 2 pans that I've hit are from Rose Gold Nudes from Beauty Treats, my palette. This also has a focus shadow in, which is why I was using it so much, and so I'll just cover that shade. But the 2 bonus pans that I hit are in this crease setting shade and this crease shade. So again, I was just using this as a setting shade for my lids once I hit pan in the Not Just Nudes, and then that shade at the bottom I was just using as a crease shade to blend out some of the shadows that I'll talk about. So that is really exciting. I've also decided to do, and I'll speak about it more at the end, but do a pan percentage within my collection. So that's really helped in bringing that up. The first colour that we're going to be talking about within this colour story is the one at the top. It's been in the project the longest. Actually, it hasn't. This one has. But this one has been in from, I think it's been in for 2 months. And excitingly, we did actually end up hitting pan on this shade. So it's this shade over here. It's from this Beauty Treats palette. We did manage to hit pan. We used it 4 additional times to hit pan, which means we used it 14 times within this project to hit pan. It did have a bit of a dent in it already, but I was using quite a fluffy brush to use it, so it is really exciting that I managed to hit pan in this. And once I did hit pan in this, that's when I started using that Beauty Treats Rose Gold Nudes shade that I also hit pan in. The next shade that we're going to be talking about is this, which is Golden Age from my Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. We used this an additional 8 times for a total of 20 uses within the project, and it's looking like this. So we still have 10 more uses. There's not much of a dip at all in the palette. You can see it's been used. The embossing at the bottom's gone away. The embossing at the bottom has gone away mostly. There's not much of a dip. You can't see a huge amount of usage in the shade, so I don't think I'll hit pan on this, but it's been really, really lovely to use this palette. It's actually what I've used on my eyes today, with this Golden Age in the crease, this chlorophyll shade to blend it out, the Earthship shade in the outer corner, and the Sun Gazer shade on the lids. And it's such a beautiful palette. I really love having this in my project, so I'm just kind of taking it slow, using it when I want to. The Golden Age shade has also been a shade that I've used a lot in my lower lash line and in a look that I've been doing throughout the month with 2 of the other shades in this project, just to create a look. So it's been really lovely having it. The next shade that I'm going to be talking about is this shimmery shade over here, and that's from this Beauty Treats Rose Gold Nudes palette, and it's the shade E1, which is the shade at the end. There is a bit of a dip in it, as you can see, and I've mainly been focusing my brush and my finger in this corner. I have been using my finger for this shade a lot, so you can't see as much of a dent as you can within the other shades, and I won't hit pan as quickly as I did in these two shimmer shades. But it's been a really lovely shade. I've found it looks quite brown in the pan, but when you put it on the eyes, it actually turns quite like a pinky color. So you can see here, so it's got a brown undertone, but it's got a lot of pink shimmer on the top. And when you do use a brush and you really blend it out, I'll try to show you, but it gets like this, almost just looks like a pinky shimmer. Don't know if you can see there. Yeah, you can. So it's there and you can see the brown undertone, but when you really blend it out, it really just kind of looks like a pink shimmer with a bit of a darker base. So it's been really beautiful to use on the eyes, and that is one of the shades that I've been using in the eye look that I've been doing quite often recently. The next shade that I'm going to be talking about is this fourth shade, which is from my Not Just Nudes palette from Revlon. So that is this palette, and the shade that I've been focusing on is this center shade. It's just a neutral brown. It's really a beautiful color. I've actually managed to use this 12 times. You can see a dent forming in the shadow there a bit. I still don't think I'll hit pan on this eyeshadow. The shadows are quite firmly pressed within this palette, especially the mattes. So it did take me forever to hit pan on this shade. So I don't think I'll be able to hit pan in this, but it's been so lovely to use. It's just a lovely one and done shade. I often put it in the crease with the shade above on the lids, and it's just a very simple, easy to wear look. The last shade that I'll be talking about is this shade at the bottom, which is from my Essence Konnichiwa Tokyo palette. So this is the palette that the last shade is from, and it's this shade right over here. It's a really beautiful red. You can actually see a bit of a dent going on, or a bit of disruption in the pan. It's a really beautiful shade. This shade is so super pigmented. I'll show you just one finger swatch. It comes off so beautifully pigmented, and oh, it's just been so lovely to use. So I've used this shade a lot with, I pop this in the crease, or in the beginning I was using that Rose Gold Nudes palette. Pop this in the crease, pop this in the outer corner, and then pop this shimmer on the lids and really blend it out so it becomes that pinky color. And it's been really beautiful. I've really loved having this shade. I have used it 6 times within this project, so hoping to get that use up a bit next month. So the look that I've been doing with those shades, I only kind of figured out how to use them together within the last half of last month. So I definitely think I'll be getting more use out of the shade now that I know a set look with it. Okay, and with that we need to roll in one new shade for the shade in this palette. So let's just get started with that. Okay, so I have my pretty random map, and in there I have shades 1 to 239. We're just rolling in one new shade, so let's get that. And that is 169. So let me check what that is, and I'll come back and show you guys the new color story. Okay, so shade 169 is from this palette, which is again from Beauty Treats. It's the Modern Matte palette. Haven't used this palette in ages, and I don't use it very often, so it's quite exciting to have this palette brought into the project. And the shade is A1, which is of course the first color from the first row, which is this very light pink. It's at the bottom there with the rest of the color story. This is going to be quite an interesting shade to try and incorporate into this color story. It doesn't really go with the other two bright mattes that I have, but again it could be quite a nice matte in a corner highlight shade, or just like a blending out shade for other pinks. And I have recently got the Rose Quartz palette from Huda Beauty that I've really been aching to play with, so this will go quite nicely with some of the shades in there, which is really exciting. And then lastly, I just want to talk about my pan percentage. So my pan percentage at the moment, I have 26 pans in my collection, which puts my pan percentage at 9.92. So I think I want to set myself a soft goal for the end of this year to have a pan percentage of at least 15. which I think is very doable, especially at the rate that I'm going, having a new pan every month. I'm hoping I can get my pan percentage to at least 15%. So yeah, that's the colour story that I'm going to be working with, and I'm really excited to do so. Sorry this update is a bit late. I'll try and be more timely in my next update. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next month. Bye!